morning, everyone. Can you hear me through the mask? Excellent, excellent. Good morning and welcome to the December Student of the Month breakfast. This is probably one of the best days of the month for us to be able to put something on to recognize our students that have excelled in the classroom in one way or the other. We will find out what way that is from the teachers who will share what they have to talk about, okay? In a building with 2,000 students, for your sons and daughters to be recognized means they must be pretty extraordinary. And parents, I thank you for creating extraordinary young men and women, okay? Because they're not gonna thank you, that's for sure, right? They're teenagers. The students honored today will be presented by their nominating teacher, so the teacher and the student needs to come up. Students, just so you know, as nervous as you are being up here, usually the teachers are too, so you've got that to relax you. Because some of the teachers' schedules, some teachers will need to leave soon after the presentation, so please forgive any comings and goings of our teachers today. Let's begin. First to present will be Mr. Boniface from the Applied Technology Department.
Move in. Toss. Gotta get in the shot. All right, well, good morning, everyone. Today I'd like to recognize Finn Manning as Student of the Month for the Applied Technology Department. Finn is in my engineering design class, where he's quickly picked up on the skills involved in drafting and has a knack for problem solving and solving the problems presented in our drawings. He's a hardworking student that's always has a positive attitude and a great work ethic. A couple months into the semester, I found out that Finn was going above and beyond the normal mastery of skills that students can attain. One day, when telling a student I would help them after I answered someone else's question, I got an interesting response. "That's okay, Mr. Boniface, I'll just ask Finn." When I heard this, I kind of laughed to myself at how quickly the student had that response. Said okay then and helped the other student. The interesting part was Finn wasn't anywhere near this person. He was 3 rows ahead of them, so it wasn't like this person was just gonna ask their neighbor. After helping the other student, I came back, and sure enough, there was Finn answering questions, discussing the solution, and figuring out the problem with that student. Curious, I asked the students how often Finn was called upon for help, and without even thinking, they said, "Oh, all the time. We usually ask him first because you're busy." At some point during this conversation, I believe they started chanting Finn's name. So it's clear he had quickly become a trusted advisor and leader in the classroom. In our class, discussions like this are encouraged between students as they discuss different solutions and viewpoints of the problems at hand. Finn took this concept and ran with it, using his knowledge to improve the learning of many students. The best way to learn is to teach someone else, and Finn exemplifies that in my classroom. His leadership and willingness to go above and beyond to help others are why he was an obvious choice for Student of the Month. Congrats, Finn.
And Finn, I would think about asking for a stipend if you're going to be teaching the class for him, okay? Next up on the list is actually me to introduce our office aides, but I've only been here for 2 weeks. Actually, my name is Chris Kostopoulos, and I'm an interim assistant principal here while Mrs. Dostal gets her Christmas wish. She asked for 2 new knees. And so she's going to be out, and while she's out recovering from her surgery, I am the assistant principal for the sophomore class. And so though I know our young boys, Mrs. Paraday knows them much better than I, and so I'm going to have her introduce our 2 student aides, well, Jack Hill and Jack Wiersma. Come on up.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to read what we put together. I'm Vicki Parody. I'm one of the secretaries in the assistant principal's office, along with Mrs. Blackwood and Ms. Herrera. The 3 of us have decided to nominate Jack and Jack together. Jack and Jack, and we call them a pair of Jacks, are our two office aides in the assistant principal's office. They have given up not only their lunch study hall, but also their lunch to come and work in our office as aides. They're both dependable, trustworthy, and efficient, and have very solid work ethics. They are always willing to go above and beyond and will take on any task that we assign to them. They always walk in with a pleasant greeting and a smile on their face. At least we think they have a smile behind the masks. And our office seems to light up just a little bit every day during fifth period. Fifth period is a very busy time. The lunch periods are very busy, and these two just run the entire time. They go get students for us, they go deliver passes, they make trips to the bookstore for me. Anything we ask them to do, they do it. They are a pleasure to have in our office, and we are most grateful for their service during the semester. Thank you. Your certificate, I'm going to have Ms. Weir, okay? And these two offered to help me put these bags together yesterday. I still can't do that.
Next up is Kelsey Thimig from the math department, who's going to introduce us to Emily, or tell us about Emily. Okay?
Good morning. I'm here to talk about Emily, who unfortunately isn't here with us today, but that's okay. Emily has been such a joy to have in my class. She's a student that's dedicated to her work, and she is very thoughtful every single day in math class. It's exciting to see her mathematical mind working when trying to solve a new problem. She's able to identify patterns and make connections that not all students can do. A great example of Emily's work and dedication is through a project we completed in class. Students were asked to create their own linear pattern and represent it in multiple ways on a poster board and through a presentation. Emily's poster was the most organized, colorful, and creative poster there was. Even other teachers saw her posters and pointed out how impressive her work was. I was able to use her poster as a positive example to show her peers, and during that project, like I said, she had to give a presentation to explain her pattern. I know she was very, very nervous, but she prepared, practiced, and truly did a great job speaking in front of the entire class. I was very proud of her courage and perseverance that day. I'm so happy to have had the pleasure of having Emily in my class this semester, and I can think of no one more deserving for Student of the Month this month.
Now from our Family and Consumer Sciences Department, we're going to hear Ms. Patty Cryer tell us about Katerina.
Good morning, my name's Patty Cryer, and this is Katerina. Did I say it right? Oh, yes. I'm horrible at names. So I'm going to read what I wrote. I have Katerina in child development this semester, and I feel like I've learned as much from her as she may be learning in this class. Speaking to classes through a mask is challenging for many reasons. We have to be louder, students can't see our expressions, and I can't always tell who is speaking. I was reminded of this when she had the courage to let me know that something I said was taken in a way that it was not intended. That was petrifying to me. I was very grateful that she pointed it out, and even more surprised at the maturity she displayed by bringing it to my attention. I feel I am a better teacher because of Katerina, but enough about me. This is about her. I have seen her work well with any student who has been her partner. So we're doing the preschool right now, the Little Lions preschool, and she's in a group of 3 other students, and I think this is the first time I've actually seen a group work with each other, like you've worked with each of the other students. Awesome teamwork. Like that is something that will take her far. I can count on her to help anyone as needed, guide 3 to 5-year-olds in their lessons when they just want to go home, escort the preschoolers to the front of the building to be picked up. She is one of the few students I actually recognize outside of the class too. I see her in the hallway and I'm like, oh, I know you. Because it's so hard to recognize students through these masks. And this is what really sealed the deal, was the fact that she's always very friendly. She's saying hello. She is willing to step in and help the preschoolers when they dump paint on the table. She's just like right there, and she has learned to just say, okay, you're going to help clean this up. And so I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you, and I'm so glad that you your schedule got tweaked in a way that you had to take child development. So congratulations on being Student of the Month.
Katerina, you're going to make a great mom, okay? Just real quick, I would like to embarrass Emily Esquita just for a moment. If you could just stand up and be recognized. Your teacher had just did your presentation, but I want everyone to see who she was talking about. Congratulations. Okay, now Mr. Hartley is going to introduce us to Naomi from Freshman Girls Chorus. And don't worry, we won't make you sing, okay?
We might. Just kidding. Good morning. My name is David Hartley. I teach choir here at LT. It's my honor to present on behalf of the music department our nomination for Student of the Month to Naomi Calamine. Naomi is an exemplary student who, as a freshman, has already proven herself to be an essential member of LT's choir family. She has established herself as a strong musician in the alto section with a fierce determination to learn our choir repertoire efficiently, accurately, and expressively. Naomi also recently chose to audition for the ILMEA District Jazz Festival, a significant undertaking for only a freshman. She prepared independently, diligently, almost entirely on her own, learning new musical concepts and even bravely stepping into the world of improvisational scat singing. While Naomi was unfortunately not one of the lucky few to be selected for the ILMEA honor, she showed an eager willingness to try new things with a drive for excellence. This audition experience will only make Naomi even more prepared for other audition opportunities in the future, and we look forward to Naomi's continued growth and leadership in LT choirs for the next 4 years. Congratulations, Naomi.
I'm not as tall. Okay. Now Mr. Petrick is going to introduce us to Alicia from our transition program. I'm so sorry, Alicia and Nate.
Good morning, good morning. First of all, I want to say great job, parents. You raised great kids. To everyone here. I printed something out. It's in 24 font. It's sad, and I got reading glasses too, so it stinks getting old. On behalf of the transition staff, Jessica Langas, Jackie Boskovich, Joe Duffy, Dave Paskey, Allison Doyle, Melissa Moore, and all our pairs and job coaches, God bless them. We are thrilled to recognize siblings Alice and Nate Lopez as Transition Students of the Month. We are very proud of their efforts to successfully obtain and, most importantly, maintain competitive employment in the community. Alice and Nate embody the program's desire to help young adults with learning differences thrive in the real world. Alice works at the Dinner Club in LaGrange, where she preps and portions ingredients for meal assembly. Her boss, Stacy Vandenberg from Dinner Club, is here, and that just shows how great our community partners are. They come here to support our kids. Our young adults, sorry. Alice says her favorite part of the job is knowing her colleagues are supportive and friendly. It makes for a nice environment. Alice encourages her peers in transition always to remember every day is an opportunity. Don't be afraid to try something new. Nate is a custodian at First United Methodist Church of LaGrange, where he makes sure the classrooms are thoroughly cleaned. Nate is always on time, and we recently received his own building key. He says he appreciates his employer's trust, and he thinks he really loves his job. Nate's advice for anybody looking for a part-time job is to make sure the place suits you well. Alice and Nate both utilize Pace Bus 330, which to get to and from work, and they learned that in the transportation part of our program, which is awesome. Alice thinks Nate's most admirable quality is that he's a hard worker, and I've known Nate probably about 6-7 years now, right? And I call him, what do I call you?
Grandpa.
Grandpa, because he's
like one.
Yeah, because he acts like one. That's right. Because he's always grumpy if he's not working, which is kind of odd, but it's a good thing. just joking, Nate. Come on. Nate thinks Alice's most admirable quality is that she's loyal and focused, and she's a helpful sister. It's great to see siblings that care about each other. Usually they're fighting. But I want to add on to Alice's caring and kind. In class, we do, in my class, I had Alice yesterday, we do 2 journal entry questions, and one of them is creative. We said, if you had a dream house, what would it be? And first thing she said was to build a ramp for one of our students who's in a wheelchair to get into the house to visit. So, I mean, that just shows how sweet she is.
But what's that, my idea, you said?
What?
Yeah,
You guys want to talk? For Beth, yeah. But no, I just, sorry about that. It's just sweet that that's the first thing she thought about and caring about how she is. I only see great things happen. You guys can talk later. All right. So no, I see great things for you guys, and I want to congratulate you guys once again. You guys are awesome. Great job, guys.
Now, in your dream house, is there a room for your brother?
Yeah, she did say that. Yes.
Okay, just checking, just checking. Okay. Basement, of course. They're going to have to fight that out. All right. Now, Ms. Silkaitis is going to introduce us to Stella Luna from World Languages.
Hi. This is a great honor for me this time because this is my first student I've ever nominated for Student of the Month, so it's a great honor to nominate Stella this time around. She is in my French 2 class, and you often have a lot of students who can be very boisterous and raising their hands and the first to do everything. Stella is one of those students who actually is quieter, but still does all the same work and has the same work ethic that you would expect from a student at a higher level. And Stella has this solid work ethic with a talent for the language. She is quietly and consistently engaged in her classwork, and her cheerful and pleasant demeanor makes her a great student and a great classmate as well. And I'm really looking forward to watching her grow as her dedication to the language continues with her hard work. Thank you, Stella.
Stella, I may hit you up later on to help me with some language things, okay? Now we're going to hear from Mr. Meyer from the Social Studies Department about Elizabeth Mason.
Well, good morning. So it's my honor to recognize Elizabeth, otherwise known as Ellie Mason, for Social Studies Student of the Month. Ellie is in World History with me this semester, and really from day one, she has demonstrated her outstanding effort, just considering like the numerous challenges, not just the freshman class, I mean sophomores, all students really have faced across the board. I mean, Mrs. Cryer mentioned the masks, but I mean new Chromebooks, new grading policy, and just as freshmen coming to a new building in the first place, I mean the challenges in this year are pretty significant. But Ellie has approached it all unfazed. What sets her apart from her peers is her focus and strong effort dedicated to each task that comes before her. Whether the task is summative or formative in nature does not matter to Ellie. From participating in class to concentrating on listening to her classmates as they participate. She's a role model in terms of what it means to be a consistent task master, while also being a very friendly and outgoing student. I guess quick aside, so this week we are looking at a unit with scientific revolution, and so Ellie was huddled with a group of her peers, and the task was to pick out one individual from a list of scientific revolution thinkers. And it came up about, well, long list of men in the textbook, where are the women? And, to listen to Ellie's observations into how women from this late medieval era were depicted, described, portrayed, was especially insightful. And it was just, again, another example of what she brings to the class and what she brings to her classmates, and it's truly a joy to teach her. So, Ellie, congratulations. Keep up the great work.
Don't give up the fight, Ellie. Okay? Now, Mr. Gerenstein is going to introduce us to, from Intro to Business to Jack.
All right, good morning. So I teach Jack an Intro to Business, and these concepts I teach seem to come very easy to Jack. I'm pretty sure he's a mind reader. I'll ask really a very high-level question, pause, and sit there and go, uh-oh, that's going over everybody's head. And then this guy comes through with the answer almost every time. I can't believe it. He blows me away. So outside of business, he aces almost every class he takes, and this isn't an exaggeration. A's, pluses across the board with a very difficult schedule. He's a proud member of the golf team, student counselor officer, part of the investment club, which I run, the peer leadership team, the South Campus Principal Student Advisory Committee. He does the announcements in the morning, and last but not least, he's a member of the Hinsdale Hospital Junior Board. As a hospital junior board member, Jack participates in community outreach events to help provide food and supplies to help those in need. After reading your bio, Jack, I'm beginning to not feel so good about myself. Jack wanted me to be aware that despite all of his commitments, he finds time to be involved in multiple fantasy football leagues. Knowing how bright this young man is, he's probably developed some sort of algorithm to give him an edge in those leagues, and he's probably running an empire behind the scenes. Jack's a leader. He's extremely smart, polite, social, and just fun to be around. I'll end with this. Jack is not only a model student of the month, but he's a fantastic human being who cares about his community. We need more like you, Jack. I'm very impressed with you, bud. I know your parents are as proud as ever. Keep up the amazing work. Congrats.
Jack, you're a Renaissance man. That's amazing. When do you sleep? Not too often? Okay. All right. Now, from our art department, we're going to hear from Miss Jamie Ray about Nina.
Good morning, everybody. I want to recognize Nina for her patience, understanding, determination, and continued positive attitude as she has been battled with constant login and profile interruptions on the desktop computers in animation class. While logging into the desktop requires multiple sign-ins and clearance checkpoints, Nina has been additionally faced with roadblocks in trying to open the programs needed for class. Adobe Animate would not allow her to log in, or wanted to send error reports, or opened up the program but then didn't allow Nina access to her files. It was a daily grind, but along the way, Nina never got frustrated. She adapted to using a different computer, tried to log in using different pathways, or use my laptop so she could keep working on her projects.
Bigger quote.
Why was the math book sad? 'Cause it had many problems.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Thank you, Nina, for never giving up or shutting down. You are an inspiration for others.
Nina, I wish I had 1/10 of your patience with computers. My sometimes solution is to like drop kick them and see if it works. Okay, now we are going to hear from Brad Anderson from the English department about Greta.
Good morning. You would think that after 28 years, I would stop being surprised about things at school. And this year was no different. You'd just think, okay, there's a pandemic, We're coming back to school. We've got a new grading system that's already been talked about. We've got laptops. All these things are different, and so you think, okay, there's my changes. But then I met Greta, and what I can tell you about Greta in her performance in English class is that no matter what assignment I give, whatever I receive from her is perfect. It's never happened before in 28 years of teaching. And the great thing about this is that when we do a formative in class, and then I want to put together some student models for the other students to look at to see this is how you should have done it, Greta's is always in that group. Now, they never chanted her name, Finn, but they still see her as a leader in their class. And beyond the assignments, the written assignments, we also have a lot of group work. And in the most recent discussion, which many students will try to talk as much as possible, back in the days in junior high where you got tick marks for how many times you talked, remember that? Okay, well, this is different, right? Civil discourse is something that's about give and take. And although I know Greta was very prepared with her research and had lots of questions and quotations she wanted to talk about, 3 times in her discussion, she used a directed question to invite in another student that hadn't talked yet. And that kind of otherness, that kind of selflessness in the midst of something that's going to be graded and assessed is what I think sets Greta apart from a lot of her high-achieving classmates, is that it's not just about the achievement of the grade. It's about caring for other people and bringing them along with you. And I would be remiss as a member of the Language Arts Division if I didn't also mention that her acting as the lion in, oh my gosh. Can you believe an English teacher just forgot The Wizard of Oz? So if you get embarrassed today, just remember, well, this teacher in the English department forgot The Wizard of Oz, so you're okay. Her role as the lion in The Wizard of Oz was amazing, and I know that people would want that recognized as well. So for all these reasons, that's why we nominated Greta Salmon as our Language Arts Division Student of the Month. Congratulations.
Will you all join me, please? Greta, Greta, Greta. Okay. Now Kristen Sisto is going to introduce us to Natasha from Student Services.
Good morning. Ooh, can you hear me? I feel like I'm too short for this microphone. I had the honor to nominate Natasha, who is an extremely kind and caring individual. She continuously shows genuine concern for others and takes the time to get to know her peers and educators inside and outside the classroom. I've been impressed with her respectful manner and mature manner since the first day I met with her this year. She actually set up a meeting right at the beginning of the year just to introduce herself and so we can get to know each other, which I thought was awesome. She's passionate about school and her extracurricular activities, and it's a joy to hear her talk about all of her involvements. Natasha has the ability to brighten up any room or conversation she's a part of, and I feel fortunate to have the chance to work with her as her counselor for the next 4 years. So congratulations, Natasha.
Xavier, if you could come on down a moment. Xavier was nominated by Brielle Hull. I'm never going to pronounce her name right. How do you say your teacher's name?
We call her Mrs. H.
Okay, Mrs. H. And I understand why you do, okay? She was unable to make it today, and so I am going to read what she wrote about you, okay? And this is from the biology prep course. Xavier has shown outstanding leadership skills within my biology prep class. He has taken on a leadership role within his various lab groups and ensure that all the members of the group have their voices heard and their goals are accomplished for the day. Within a large class setting, he is always there to volunteer to help out his fellow classmate through sharing ideas and discussion. He also takes time from his study hall to help out as an aide in A106. I have seen him working tirelessly, doing this during his free periods to help out LT. He is also an active member in the art club. Xavier always does his work to the best of his ability and has a great self-advocacy to ask questions when he needs support. Xavier is an amazing student in my class, but more importantly, an amazing person to have here in the LT family. Congratulations. Now, from Driver's Education, we're going to hear from Mr. Wiest about Matthew Foster. Though I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Wiest and every driver's ed teacher out there who takes a student who's never driven a car, puts them behind the wheel, and lets them drive them around. It's kind of scary stuff.
All right, thank you. It is an honor to be standing up here with Matthew. To go off of that, you may think that it's nerve-wracking to get in the car with a student, but with Matthew, you can feel like you can just put that seat back, relax, and kind of just enjoy. And so he's a wonderful student to have in class. Each and every day he comes in, and he's got a big smile on his face, and he's always saying hello to me. He's extremely respectful, and he works so well with other students. Not only behind the wheel, but on our driving range, he's one of the most consistent students that we do have. He's an example that I can use for other students, and he will be missed next semester in my class. It's an honor to be standing up here, and he's our driver's ed student of the month.
I'm sorry, it is nerve-wracking to get in a car with someone who's never driven. All right, and then last but certainly not least, Mr. Geddes is going to introduce us to Lachlan from Student Activities.
Good morning. As Activities Director, I get to see people in a variety of venues. And I actually heard about Lachlan before I met Lachlan. And the first time that I actually got to see him in action, the bar was already set fairly high. And he was part of a panel at our first fall in-person snowball in a year and a half. So a lot of pressure on the students who were up there, and I was so unbelievably impressed by his maturity and by his well-spokenness. And then to find out that he's only a sophomore and that basically he hasn't really been here at LT, I was stunned to see him. And then I had an opportunity to work with him and to see him in action just a couple of weeks later. And what really came across to me with Lachlan, again, I mentioned his maturity, but also his ability not only to represent himself and his own perspective, but also to take into account and to represent the perspectives of others. Not only in thinking about what others might think, but also affording the opportunity for others with whom he clearly disagreed to still have the space to exist there and to see that kind of understanding and that kind of agreeableness. For one who's so relatively young, really impressed me, and I know that great things lie ahead of Lachlan in the years to come. He's going to be a fantastic leader at LT, and I'm sure beyond, I assume when he goes on to college and then on into his career, I have a feeling that we will hear the name Lachlan McElroy again and again in the years to come. So it's absolutely an honor and a pleasure to recognize him here today.
I had the opportunity to meet Lachlan on my first day on the job, and he was there and supporting a classmate about something, and I was so taken with him, I asked him to be an aide in the office, and he agreed, and it's been wonderful. He's even helped put up our holiday decorations for us, okay? That does conclude our Student of the Month presentation this month. This is December. I think we're down to 11 days. 11 days? The kids know better than I. Before we're going to have our winter break. And it doesn't matter how you celebrate the holidays. I just want to wish all of you lots of time with family, because that's what it's all about. Spread love however you can. Certainly the world needs it. And in this time of year, we have so many opportunities to do that. Take advantage of what you can. Take advantage of the kids being captive for 2 weeks. Make them clean their room. Do things like that. Make some memories. That's what it's all about. Make some memories. So thank you all, again, parents, for just being great parents and raising fabulous kids. We've got future Elon Musks. We've got future restaurateurs. We've got great parents. We've got some teachers, I think, that are going to come out of this group. Just amazing young men and women. And so you guys, you make LT the school that it is. And you keep up the great work that you're doing. What most impressed me with almost all of you is how much you help your classmates. Keep that up. And as a life skill, that's going to take you far. So enjoy the rest of the day. The sun has come out. It's supposed to be in the 40s. Let's take advantage of that. And enjoy the last few days of school. Students, parents, thank you so much for coming in and starting your morning with us. Have a great day.